All right, we're live.
Hey.
Welcome to the Boston Art Podcast, hosted by me, Brian, and you, Theo. And
All
our
right.
third intuitive, conceptual guest, you, the audience.
Wow.
Mind
Ball break.
blowing.
Blowing.
Did I say blowing?
Mind baloney.
Mind blowing.
Alright, so
It's
just
a good
to
one.
just to preface this right off the bat with the fact that we clearly are not hype about this today.
We feel like shit.
At 2 a.m. last night, the gas stove started leaking and we had to leave.
Yeah, there was an alleged gas leak in my apartment, and we had to escape in the dead of the night while the fire department came and all that.
It actually wasn't that bad because we just were totally irresponsible and left to my apartment and let...
Yeah, we just
my
left and
roommates
my
do it.
roommates dealt with it, and it sucked. And that it is what it is.
But we're tired.
We're very tired.
But it's Friday!
It's gray. TGIF.
Yeah.
F.
So we're
Yeah.
here. We're making a podcast episode for you guys because we said we would.
That's right. So,
It's probably a good thing to...
what have you been working on?
What have I been working on?
Yeah, anything new?
Working on the arcade cabinet.
Oh, yeah.
Got
Tell me
a
about
commission. Well, my brother asked me to paint his arcade cabinet because he has a collection of actual wooden arcade games, like 80s arcade games, and he has a it's Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus, I think, or Super Pac-Man, whatever the other one is. And it's like a real wooden cabinet, like you would see in a classic arcade,
Right.
with a little screen inside of it. And he wanted me to sand it down, prime it, and repaint it whatever style I wanted. So it's pretty fucking cool. I'm excited about that.
It's always good to get a commission where you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited, and he's excited, so that's
Do you
fun.
feel like most of your commissions are whatever you want commissions, or are they directions? Like, what kind of directions?
This is actually interesting, because you and I have talked about this on a surface level before, but not really delved into it, and I wanted to talk to you about this also, because I've been thinking about
Lay
it
it
more.
on me.
A lot of my commissions in the past have been basically me just doing whatever the client wants me to do, and I'll send progress shots along in the middle. And that was great, and all well and good for a little while. Yeah, it's the way I started doing commissions in, like, high school. And that was fine in high school, because nobody who was asking me to do pieces was asking for anything very specific, because they were hiring a 15-year-old, usually.
Yeah.
But it's just really obnoxious and limiting at this point. Like, if it's something like I'm doing a portrait for somebody, and something's a little off about it, and there's something they'd like me to fix, or, like, change a color, or, like, make it fit their apartment style, like, that's totally normal, that's fine. But a lot of the commissions that I'll do, I'll put myself in a position, it's not even the client, where I'm just asking for feedback or tell them that they can tweak it as much as they want, which results in a lot of free labor on my end, as far as, like, I finish the piece and then there's, like, 7 tweaks that they need, and it's not all communicated at once. It's like when you're a waitress and you ask your table if there's anything else they need, and they ask you for 7 things, but only 1 at a time, and every time you come back from the kitchen they ask for something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me there's 2 types of commissions that are available. One of them is where the person wants to receive a physical piece of art that they're going to hang up.
Yeah.
And the other one is like a utility where it's like maybe a high-res digital file that they want to make prints of, or it's for a t-shirt or an album cover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And usually most of my commissions are those.
Yeah.
Are utility ones. And for those ones, what I do to make it easier on myself is I just make all of them digital.
Yeah.
Without anybody asking. And if I want it to look more traditional or more drawn, like sometimes people don't really care if it's digital or if it's like if they want ink drawing, like it isn't important to most people if there's actually ink on a piece of paper. What they want is the ink drawing aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I can do that digitally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think what people don't want when they hear digital art is they think of like a drawing of a giant monster and like a pine forest with a tiny little guy with a sword in the foreground. You know what I mean?
That's so specific.
That's literally like every single digital artist does that.
Yeah.
Giant monster, forest, tilted, horizon line, tiny guy with the sword in the foreground.
That's like video game, like, character design style.
But I feel like that is like the quintessential cliche face of digital art.
Yeah, which is so crazy, because I feel like digital art is so much more versatile than that.
It's lit. I think I really like digital art. I think it's really interesting. Not because it's not like I love it aesthetically. I just love the idea of it because it's one of the only full-blown art movements with with literally probably thousands of different subsets that belongs to the 21st century.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were digital arts being created in some way as far back as like the 1940s and 50s, maybe, or 50s. Like there's or maybe not actually. I just know that I know that they found old Andy Warhol digital drawings that he made on a very, very old computer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a thing. But so there were some a long time ago, but I don't know. Discounting those, I feel like with just the technology we have right now and with tablets and I don't know, just like the iPhone century, like we don't it's just I don't know. I just feel like it's interesting because it's a massive, huge, and broad genre of art that is the right now.
Another thing too about digital art that's really cool is that it's really accessible for people that don't have space. Or for just like actual disability accessibility. It's easier sometimes to use a digital program.
Actually, that's interesting point.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, you can take it with you if you're a commuter. You can work on your digital shit like on your tablet on the train. I had a friend at the museum. My friend Kat, who's awesome. Her Instagram is Kapakawa. If you're interested in looking at it. She used to do drawings on her tablet sometimes at work.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, actually. If the Museum of Fine Arts is listening, that never
Fuck
happened.
you!
Shh, no. That never
Fuck
happened.
the MFA!
No! They're not listening, so.
They're definitely not listening at all.
But, no, yeah. It was very cool to see her be able to do that at lunch and shit when I'm primarily a traditional artist, unless I'm doing, like, commissions, like t-shirt designs and stuff, as you said. Then I'll use digital, but...
Sorry. Yeah, fuck commissions.
I don't know about that.
I'm just kidding.
I disagree with that.
Yeah.
They're a pretty good portion of my income. Like, in the last 3 or 4 months, I have been very close to not being able to make rent because of just COVID and shifting jobs around and stuff, and commissions have been the backbone. Like,
yeah.
I'm very grateful for the ones that I've gotten, especially lately, honestly.
No, I was definitely just being facetious as well, because one thing that I do also love about commissions is the people who commission art, because I think that, I don't know, like, I think that obviously, as anybody who thinks about art or loves art or makes art knows, is that artists and creators are very undervalued. Mm-hmm. So the population of people who actually commission art are like usually actually understand that. Yeah. And I think that's pretty dope and kind of rare, honestly, at least in
honestly, I think people that commission art and people that buy finished pieces are amazing. I think they're great.
We fucking love art collectors so much.
Yeah.
And they're so cool.
It's not just because we're artists here.
Hit us up.
You guys are awesome.
Totally send me a
You're
DM
so sick.
if you want to hang out or you need anything.
Seriously, though. No, I think it's a really cool mindset for people to have, though, because it's hard to explain the value of collecting local art to somebody that maybe doesn't do it. It's like, oh, this is just a picture that you drew. Or like, this guy I know made this, haha.
Well,
and people don't think of that as very valuable, but imagine if you collected work from everyone you know that makes art right now, and you spent maybe like $10 to $50 on a piece. It's not much more than if you splurged at fucking Primark or something one day. Just do it real quick, and then you have a collection 10 years from now that says so much about what the scene was like at that time, and the people that you were friends with, or could even increase in monetary value too, depending on where those people's careers go.
Well, yeah, because I think another thing too is that one thing not a lot of people realize is that how easy it is to start collecting art and how valuable that is, I guess, too, because an art collection bought at the local level, like, doesn't even have to be from, like, legitimate artists. Like, it could just be a friend's drawing or, like, I don't know, a photograph that somebody took, or, like, just kind of the same way that people hang up family photos in their house. A lot of people do with art as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck. I don't know what to say anymore about this topic. I've lost steam on this idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pick it up.
No, it's totally true. I think something else that's interesting is that I feel like in my in the past, I've definitely run into people that are really intimidated to commission a piece of work, or they didn't know that they could, or that it was like rude or something to request, which I completely understand why somebody might feel like that if they've never done it before. And ultimately that's showing respect for an artist, because you don't want to be a nuisance or something, but you really aren't. Like, even if you're not even, I don't know, ideally pay for it, but like if you're barter systeming it, if you're just asking for a request, sometimes the artists in your life will be interested in doing that just to meet a new challenge. I don't know, it really depends. I'm not advocating for asking people for free work right now, but I am advocating for just maybe communicating with people that you respect a lot more, because maybe they don't even know that you want a piece from them. I've definitely been in that position before. I'm more than happy to give my work to people.
How do you buy a painting?
I think that really depends on the artist, but for me, if somebody were to try and purchase a piece from me, there's multiple ways you can do it. I have an Instagram shop, which is the easiest one, where you can just kind of buy it on an interface. I have to put more pieces on it. It currently only has 2 paintings, but in theory, you'd be able to buy them just there without even talking to me. So there's an outlet there for somebody that maybe doesn't want as personal of an interaction. You also could just send a message. Like on Facebook, DM me, text me, call me.
What about just for any, like, I mean, like if somebody had no way of buying art or no idea how to buy art or collect art, how would that person start?
Honestly, this might be kind of whack. I don't know if this is good advice, but I really like thrift store art. That is one thing that I do. If you want to buy directly from an artist, which is usually what I would recommend, there's tons of places that you can find local art being sold. You just have to kind of seek it out. Right now, we're not in. It's obviously COVID, and there aren't as many art markets happening, but there still are a handful of them out there. A lot of places have online websites now. Like Dorchester Art Project, I usually sell through their either the Brain Arts Market or through their store, but those are both closed right now because of COVID. So they made a website. You can order things on there. Proceeds go just as much to me as they would have in person. I don't know. I guess also, like, the internet is really the best resource because you can talk directly to whatever artist you're interested in. If you follow someone on Instagram that you think is cool, you just shoot them a message and see where they're selling their stuff.
Yeah, and I would also keep in mind, too, that if you were buying art, that you have to be really careful if you're not buying it directly from the artist, because there are a lot of artists that only sell their art through galleries or through consignment or through an art dealer of some kind or a venue of some kind, but that isn't always the case. And, like, I don't know, like, there are people who collecting art is like a business. It's like every piece of art they own is a little stock.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like penny stocks or buying shares in an artist, you know what I mean, where they all have a floating value that is increasing or decreasing or gaining value as the artist creates and sells their work. And a lot of the times, if you were buying something secondhand, whether it's online or from like a thrift store or a consignment store, that artist that you're trying to support might not be seeing any money from it.
That's true.
At all. And you aren't actually supporting a living artist, but you're actually just supporting, you know, like a fucking like vintage store.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
With fucking local art. Or some, I don't know, like just some guy that is like selling consignment shit. You know?
Yeah. That's actually really true. Definitely look into who is the one actually selling it, especially if it's on consignment.
Not even just that, but like if it's a living artist and you actually are like, and you're like, shit, I want to buy this thing. Look up that artist and see how they sell their work.
Yeah.
And like see if it's actually through a shop or through their DMs or through a gallery that actually supports them.
Yeah. Versus,
you know, I don't know, buying some shit from a less than savory venue.
It does depend, though. Sometimes people will have their work in consignment shops and the proceeds will benefit them almost entirely, and it is the way that they want it to be sold. Sometimes a collector will purchase that piece from the artist and will put it up for consignment themselves, because at that point the piece becomes their property and they're allowed to do that. It's not illegal, it's just if you want your money to go into the pocket of the local person and maybe kind of go a little further, because usually that person is probably the one with less money, it is better to go directly to the artist. Or at least just ask at the counter, like, do the proceeds to this benefit the artist, or is this on consignment from someone else? My number one, yeah, actually, saying thrift store is probably not the smartest way to address
Well,
the question.
fine. I think